Well, we're gonna be cooking today here on Cherry Bites. So, you know, wasteland cooking, survival of the most recipes. So without further ado, let's sip ourselves up and let's go. So now that your kitchen's rat roach free, let's cook some perfectly preserved pie. If you happen to like video games, well shoot, hit that little heart thingy and let's learn some wasteland recipes, cause why not? And we all need to survive. Now the first thing that you need to do is find yourself a camp unit. Or, you know, set one down yourself. You're gonna need yourself a couple of caps, but just hit up a couple of those workshops and it's a breeze. Then you can come back here and find yourself some good noms for your tum. Specifically, the perfectly preserved pie that you can find in the pie machines. If you don't know the lore of it, now the lore of it is that basically perfectly preserved pie can be found in Porto diner machines, which was basically a machine you could conveniently get your food in. Like vending machines today, only kind of niftier in the way that they looked, with the 50s futuristic feel to it. Now, when we looked at them, you know, there's all of these different Porto diners. However, there's only one that you can ever get a pie from. It's a very frustrating, kind of fun, trivial thing in the business matter of it all. So, the first thing that you're going to need to do at your cooking station is find yourself an area to set down your fusion-powered generator thing. Or just, you know, regular generator. Whatever plans you have, pop down a generator, get it rolling. Plug in your mixer, find yourself some mixing things. They're a little rare in the wasteland, but hit yourself up one of those department store type things or shopping things or big go-to type thing. And you find yourself a bunch of them. Now, the recipe for perfectly preserved pie can be found below and you can download it. But the first thing that it calls for is whipped cream. Is cream cheese. So, with that being said, we are going to take, I think it's a pound of it. You know, throw the trash everywhere because there's trash already in the wasteland, or don't do that. You know, be the betterment of tomorrow and recycle. I said as I threw it in the garbage. Okay, so you're going to take the book and place it before you. Because you're not allowed to see it no more. You're going to take 1 pound of cream cheese that has been set out to room temperature. You know, if you cannot, it's not easy to find room temperature. Just kidding. It's easy to find room temperatured, well, we can find wasteland temperatured cream cheese, so that's what we're stuck with. Which looks like a glorby blork, a blork of bluff. Blech. Like boogers. You do have to use the whole thing, which is a pound. I'm using Philadelphia, which is great. Once you're done with that, set that aside because that plastic can be scrapped down and used to repair your pistol or, you know, make some armor or something. Once that's in the bowl, you're going to take your mixer, set your spoon aside, in a non-dirty area where no rad roaches, no ticks, no nothing can get it. You're going to take your mixer and basically mix it. Your cream cheese, you want to make sure that it's smooth. And when it's smooth, basically you're going to be able to scrape it and move it around smoothly, like it's kind of like almost melted butter. That's a great consistency there, right? So after the cream cheese, I should say, is all whipped up nice, you're gonna move your mixer out of the way, your weapons too, that you always have to have near you, just in case those son of a fluffus come up. And the son of a fluffus is scary. The next thing that you're gonna add is about 3/4 cups of sugar. Now this one is ultra fine pure sugar. We're going to do 3/4 cups. So, 1. Oh, that's one. And it says to mix it in slowly. So, when we mix it in slowly, first I'm going to mix it in a little bit with this. Just to start getting it in there. And then I'll go in with the mixer. Now the next thing that we do once we got our 3/4 sugar in this bowl is to take this mixy thing that we got connected to our generator that was a son of a fluff. You're gonna mix it again. Mix it good. Mix it real good. Okay. Once it's mixed real good, you're going to mix the eggs in. Now, it's kind of hard to find eggs in the wasteland, but I found a nice death claw, a nest that had some there for the picking. So I got 3 of them, which is what our recipe calls for, luckily. Must have had that luck bubble header right next to us, because it was bobbling us straight into some lucky eggs. So we got 3 eggs. Like I said, pop those things in, 1 egg at a time. What is the eggs for? Well, the eggs, once we pop it onto the campfire, the eggs help the cheesecake take its shape. 1, 2, 3 eggs. The cheesecake taking its shape is important because, well, you know, you want it to have shape. The next one is the last one. Don't get no eggshells in there, because that will be a gross crunch. Now, if you remember Strong, he asked us for some of that milk of human kindness. We ain't got none of that. Well, we do got some of this heavy whipping cream that we're going to take 1/4 of, and we're going to pour it into our mixture. Now, the next part of it is going to be kind of a lot of stuff we're dumping in here. I mean, we do live in the wasteland, so we do gotta put lots of ingredients in there so that it can be prepared. Look at all these things. I found an armory that had an amazing stash of things for me to swipe. It's at a grocery store. You can find it on your map. I think it's near White Springs somewhere. So you're going to take a 1/2 cup of this here sour cream, which it is cream that is. So after we put our sour find an ideal location. Continue. After we put our sour cream in there, we're going to move faster before we get attacked by all these rad roaches smelling our delicious, perfectly preserved pie. We're going to add a pinch of salt in this. Then you're going to, Nuka-Colas. Then you're going to grab a pinch of salt that you can find in a crevice, which the crevices, you know, are scattered throughout the wasteland. The next thing you're going to want to do is head over to Mama Dolce's factory, pick yourself up some cornstarch, and, you know, you're going to want to dump it everywhere, all over your workstation, because let's get messy! And you're going to need 2 tablespoons of that. like I said. Don't be afraid to get a little messy. It is the wasteland after all. We don't gotta be worrying about them manners and whatnot. Boop. After you dumped it in the business, throw your things aside, clean up your workstation. And then pull out your mixer. And mix it up again. After you mix it up, you're going to want to take another tablespoon, pick up some of that vanilla extract, which ironically you can also find at Mama Dolce's. It's a great place to farm ingredients, man. Get over there. Mama Dolce's. I just wanted to make sure it was a tablespoon. I feel like that was a bit much for her. I like the way it smells. Oh, fudge, I used almond, whatever. I like almond. I use almond, you can use vanilla, it's the same thing. It just determines what it's going to taste like. Now once you get everything mixed up, and you add your extracts, your whatnots, you're gonna grab some crackers. Ironically, also, Mama Dolce's told you, best place to farm food. Farm that food! So grab some crackers out of there, and you're gonna throw it in your food processor with some melted butter. You can melt it on the cooking station, that's, you know, over there. Stick the crackers in. Like so. Add the butter in last, okay? Just so you don't get nothing confused. Oh. If it doesn't close, that's because you didn't undo it. You didn't smash them in good enough. Smash them in good. Okay, Ninja. Go, Ninja, go, Ninja, go. Use the same generator, the power generator that's hooked up. You should be able to still. If you unplug one thing, you can hook it up. Might track some of the wasteland wildlife, but it's okay. All you gotta do is use your bat system and target those motherfuckers and knock them into next month. Once the crackers are back to the consistency that you want, it's gonna be something like this breadcrumby type material that also looks like dirt. Doesn't it look like dirt? Once we got our hot butter, you know, it's all melted, whatnot. Dump it into your graham cracker mixture. You're gonna mix it up. Gonna mix it. Mix it. You want to get it to this consistency right here where it's kind of crummy looking, kind of like a little bit Play-Doh-y. If it doesn't look as maybe sticky as it should, try adding in a little bit more of that melted butter. You don't want it to be too much. You want it to still have that crumbly, but you want it to have a nice form when pushed together, which this one, it does. So once that's done, you're going to set it aside, which we'll set it here. Now, our cookbook, the Fallout official cookbook, tells us that we got to take a spring-loaded pan, which is one of these. And basically, a spring-loaded pan is a pan. I'm going to take this off. A spring-loaded pan is basically a pan that... So once you wash your pan again and in the river. A spring action pan is basically a pan that pops out of its shell casing. The shell casing is then locked into place by the clip that I demonstrated and then lost the bottom of my pan. 4. Okay, after it's in the pan. So after you put your pan back together from demonstrating things, you're going to stick it in some aluminum foil. Aluminum, little easy to find in the wasteland. You can find some aluminum nodes, different things near Garen Mine, you know, which is an actual great place to go. Also a great place to go, munitions factory, where they have more of that type of stuff. So after you wrap your pan in foil, which is basically a moisture barrier, you're going to basically take some butter, a stick of it, to be precise. You're going to take a stick of butter and smush it out and rub it all over. Let's do at the end of it. You're going to rub it all over the inside of the pan. And this is basically, that's a good amount. This is basically going to be to keep the parchment paper, from coming up off of, or it's going to keep the parchment paper sticking to the pan, as well as make it easier to remove once we take the cheesecake out and we have to remove it from the actual pan. It's an important process, man. Okay, so after that, you're going to take your parchment paper and you're going to cut it to the shape of your, hold on. You know, so long in the wastelands and don't know how to stay organized all day. Stop rolling! I wasn't happy with the consistency. I wanted it to be a bit more like wet sand look to it. Once you get that wet sand look to it and you have your parchment paper inside of your pan and you have your aluminum foil on the outside of it, you're going to dump the graham cracker mixture in. Granted, it was not far from the crapper. It's just that was just a typo of mouth. It was a typo or burpo. You verbally typoed. After we get our graham cracker mixture down, just a thin layer of it. Okay, because keep in mind, our pie in this recipe does not have the graham cracker. the graham cracker layer. It actually goes without it. I like graham cracker in my cheesecake, so I'm going to have that graham cracker layer there. You don't have to do that. So this step is optional. Once you have your parchment paper in there, and you use or don't use your graham crackers, you're going to go ahead and you're going to dump your cheesecake mixture in. Woo! And you're going to want to scrape the bowl. Because why would you want to leave some behind? It would be lonely without the rest of its glorious bundle of radiated nuclear yumminess. Dum, da, dum, dum. It smells good. So it looks like that. Look at that. Look at the cheesecake-ness of it. And I'm going to tap it down a few times. This is going to get all of the bubbles to rise to the top. Why is that important? Well, we don't want a bunch of air bubbles inside of our cheesecake because that will cause it to crack, one, and it's just not good. It's just important. It's an important thing. It's set. Once you tap out all your air bubbles, you're going to want to, again, make sure that your pan is wrapped in foil because you're going to be sticking it in another mother fluffer. And here we got our pans, and we're going to dump water in here, okay, so that we can surround this pan this pan with water so that it's boiling water around it. Interesting. So head over to your stream, collect some dirty water, head over to the cooking station, boil it up so that we have purified, boiled fresh water to add to our cheesecake mixture. I'll be back. I'm going to go get some. Now, when you have your pan full of water, you're going to want to make sure that it's halfway up on the spring pan, okay? And once that's done, you're going to pop it over inside of the oven stove cook station. You have to find a stove cooking station for this recipe, unfortunately. You can't use it on a campfire. So pop over to the nearest town and there'll be a stove cooking station. Pop this thing in there for an hour and then turn off the stove. And we'll let it sit in there for another hour. So basically, we're going to put it in there for an hour, let it rest for another hour with the generator off, no longer powering the oven. No power to the oven. It'll be turned off and left in the oven for another hour, just to firm itself, and it helps with no cracking. You don't necessarily want cracks in your cheesecake. So I'll see you back after 2 hours. I gotta go kill some stuff in the wasteland anyways, you know. Lots of crafting to do, lots of caps to collect, and a cheesecake to bake. Now that it's been, I don't know, because there's a radiation storm, but it's been at least a day, I think. You're going to take a blender, make sure you got your generator still up and running and none of those wasteland creatures got it. And then you're going to take 2 pounds of strawberry and you're going to put it in the blender and you're going to puree. You're going to puree it until it is completely smooth. It's all steamy in there because I washed it in the stream. Sheesh, okay. Then you put Next thing, after you pureed it super smooth, you're gonna take a strainer. I don't got one, so I used bunched up aluminum foil, layered on top of each other, and then I poked a bunch of holes in it. Because, why not? Hopefully it works. So you're going to take it, and it's going to look like it's kind of staying on top for a second. Should start to go through. Yeah, it's going through. I think I need to poke bigger holes. I'll be back. Now we're moving on to the caramel buttercream, which is kind of fun. You know, kind of got to travel a lot of places in the wasteland, but head over to White Springs and there's a bunch of different things you can do there if you talk to, you know, the Enclave shop bots. So first thing you're going to do is get yourself some caramel, 2 sticks of butter at room temperature, and you're going to take a 1/2 cup of caramel sauce, which, you know, find yourself some measuring cups, take some caramel sauce, Mama Dolce's, man. Mama Dolce's! Ooh, I love the caramel. Okay, take a 1/2 cup of caramel sauce, dump it on in there. Boop, 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 boop. The water falling out of my other measuring cups. Taste it, just to make sure it's not poison. Don't you know it's wasteland? Then you're gonna take a pinch of salt, you know, just to give that caramel, that salted caramel pinch, and you're gonna poof it in there, boom! You know, without the explosion. It would be nice if there was one, you know. Then you're gonna take confectioner's sugar, which, if you don't know what confectioner's sugar, what its reference is powdered sugar. And you're going to slowly start mixing it in, well, putting it in there. When it rains in Spain. Started on a low speed. First, we're gonna make sure it's plugged into the generator. And we're gonna start mixing it up till we get to a very good consistency. That's good for. That looks good. Now, if you have a consistency like mine, that's a little bit goop, you can put more powdered sugar in it, or you can find the nearest ice chest, which is usually around a Red Rocket somewhere. And just pop it in there for a little bit and then put it in your piping bag, and then we'll put it on top of our cheesecake once we put our puree on top of it. I'll see you then. Perfectly preserved pie. You know, it was a little dicey there because it's a difficult mother fluffer, but we got it done. Let's go eat it now. I gotta go get I guess I don't need a fork, huh?